Walk into almost any pub in Ireland, and within a minute someone will ask you a question. Not your name first, not where you're from. Usually, it's simply, what's the Craic?
It isn't really a question with a precise answer. It's more of a warm invitation.
Tell me something. Share a story. Let's see where this conversation decides to go.
Craic, pronounced exactly like crack, is one of the most beloved words in Irish life.
It roughly means fun, good conversation, or a lively, enjoyable atmosphere shared together.
But that definition barely covers how much weight the word actually carries. So here's the real question. How did one small word come to represent an entire way of living?
The story starts, curiously enough, far from Ireland itself.
The word's roots trace back to Middle English and later to Scotland and Northern England. There, crack meant loud conversation, gossip, or lively chat among friends and neighbors. It crossed into Ulster sometime in the 20th century, carried through everyday speech. Eventually, the word was absorbed into Irish, respelled as Craic to match Irish spelling. The Irish spelling was then borrowed straight back into English, Craic replacing crack almost entirely. What started as a simple word for chat slowly grew into something much bigger.
Today, Craic describes an entire feeling: warmth, laughter, music, and easy company together.
It's less a single event and more an atmosphere that a room can build together. You don't simply have Craic alone. It's something created between people in real time. A good storyteller, a well-timed joke, an unplanned sing-along, all of it can spark the Craic. There's even a loose, well-known ranking system among friends, half serious and endlessly debated. Good Craic, mighty Craic. And at the very top, the Craic being 90, wonderfully over the top.
On the other end sits the gently mocking phrase, no Craic at all, a truly dull night.
None of this is written down anywhere official. It's simply understood, passed along socially. Central to all of it is the humble Irish pub, treated as far more than a place to drink. It functions as a genuine community living room, open to neighbors, strangers, and old friends alike. People gather there for conversation and company as much as for anything in a glass.
Traditional music sessions often break out unplanned, a fiddle here, a drum there, a voice joining in.
Nobody needs an invitation to join in listening, or occasionally, to join in playing.
Strangers get folded into conversations with genuine ease, not polite, distant small talk.
Ask someone where they're from, and within minutes you'll likely hear a full, winding story.
That storytelling instinct runs deep through Irish culture, well beyond the pub itself.
Ireland has long produced writers, poets, and playwrights whose work still echoes worldwide. That same instinct for narrative, for turning ordinary moments into a good tale, shows up nightly.
A trip to the shop can somehow become an entertaining 5-minute story back at the table.
It isn't about exaggeration for its own sake. It's about making the ordinary genuinely worth hearing. Craic thrives specifically in that kind of unhurried, attentive listening between people. Nobody's checking a phone mid-story. Nobody's rushing toward the next thing on their schedule.
The conversation itself is treated as the actual event, not a filler before something else.
In the 1990s, Ireland's cultural profile rose sharply on the world stage, and Craic rode along with it. Global attention followed Irish music, film, and sport, and interest in Irish pubs followed too. Irish-themed pubs opened in cities worldwide, Craic printed cheerfully on their signs and menus.
Some critics argued this turned a genuine cultural value into a marketable, packaged product.
There's a fair point buried in that criticism, worth taking seriously rather than dismissing. A word describing real community warmth doesn't automatically transfer just by hanging a sign. Real Craic still depends entirely on the people in the room, not the decor around them.
You can borrow the word. The actual feeling has to be built together, every single time.
Most Irish people seem to hold on to that distinction without needing to spell it out loudly.
A tourist pub might use the word constantly. A real session still just happens unannounced.
The best Craic, by most accounts, still shows up in small, unplanned, unphotographed moments. A late conversation that runs long. A joke that gets retold for years afterward. Irish literature itself is full of characters who talk their way through any crisis. That reflects something real. Conversation here is often the first tool reached for.
Traditional Irish wakes blend genuine grief with storytelling and shared memory.
Even hard moments get met with words, company, and the comfort of not being alone.
Irish radio leans heavily on talk formats, phone-ins, and open conversation.
Call-in shows regularly become a kind of national Craic, debated the next day everywhere.
GAA matches, Ireland's beloved native sports, come with their own running commentary culture.
Half the fun is arguing about the match afterward, in the pub, at length.
Irish humor leans self-deprecating, quick, and built for back-and-forth exchange. A joke rarely lands as a solo performance. It's meant to be built on together.
Tourism boards have tried bottling Craic for decades with mixed and debated success. Most agree it resists bottling entirely. It only really exists between people, live. An impromptu tune that pulls half the room into a shared, unplanned sing-along. So step back and consider what this small, slippery word is actually pointing toward. It isn't really about parties or pubs or even music, though all of those help. It's about a specific kind of attention, full presence given freely to whoever's in the room. In a lot of modern life, conversation gets treated as something to fit into small gaps.
Craic insists on the opposite. Let the conversation take exactly as long as it needs to. Interrupt your evening for a good story. Let a stranger's tale genuinely hold your attention.
There's a real generosity folded into that instinct, easy to overlook at first glance. Giving someone your full, unhurried attention is a quiet, meaningful gift these days.
Craic simply builds that gift into the everyday rhythm of ordinary Irish social life.
You don't need a pub, a fiddle, or even a single pint to borrow the underlying idea. Just a willingness to ask a genuine, open question and actually wait for the real answer.
What's the Craic? Not a demand for details, just an open door into someone's day.
Let the story wander a little. Let the conversation take an unplanned detour or two. That small openness, repeated often enough, quietly becomes its own kind of warmth.
Ireland didn't invent conversation, obviously, or laughter, or shared evenings among friends. What it did was give that whole warm tangle of things one single memorable word. A word flexible enough to mean an entire wonderful night, or simply, quietly, how are you? Tonight, in pubs and kitchens and living rooms across Ireland, someone is asking that question. What's the Craic? And somewhere, a good story is already halfway out of someone's mouth. Not because anything particularly dramatic happened today,
but because in Ireland, an ordinary story, told well, was always considered worth the telling. The fiddle in the corner might start up again before the night is anywhere near finished.
Someone will inevitably know the words, and someone else will inevitably learn them on the spot. Rounds of drinks get bought and returned in a loose, understood rhythm nobody has to track.
It's less about the drink itself and more about the small, repeated gesture of care behind it.
Outside, the rain might be falling the way it so often does across the Irish countryside. Inside, none of that seems to matter much. Warmth and noise filling the small room instead. A stranger who walked in an hour ago now feels, somehow, like an old familiar face. That's really the quiet trick behind the whole idea of Craic when you look closely at it.
It turns ordinary rooms, ordinary nights, and ordinary people into something worth remembering.
Ask the question, mean it fully, and see exactly where the answer decides to go. That, more than any pub or pint, was always the real heart of the Craic. Slan, as they say on the way out the door, until the next good conversation finds you.